Imagine legions marching, swords clashing, all while their minds are lost in the depths of slumber. Did the ancient world truly witness armies of sleepwalking warriors? Welcome to Echoes of Time, your portal to the forgotten pages of history, where we delve into the most perplexing enigmas, unearthing the chilling, often bizarre accounts of somnambulist soldiers that challenge our understanding of human consciousness and conflict. From the very dawn of organized warfare, humanity has recorded tales that defy easy explanation. Events whispered through generations, sometimes dismissed as myth, yet persistent enough to etch themselves into the annals of various civilizations. The concept of a warrior propelled by an unseen force fighting without conscious thought is a deeply unsettling one. Yet it is a phenomenon that historical records across diverse cultures tantalizingly suggest may have existed. These aren't just isolated incidents, but accounts of entire groups or significant portions of armies seemingly acting under a trance-like state, blurring the lines between waking reality and the deepest corners of the unconscious mind. To truly grasp the gravity of such a possibility, we must first journey back to the societies that first documented these strange occurrences, to understand how they were perceived and what significance they held in a world vastly different from our own. Our quest for these elusive somnambulist warriors begins in the heart of ancient Rome, a civilization renowned for its meticulous record-keeping and highly disciplined legions. Within ancient Roman chronicles, we find intriguing mentions of soldiers reported to be fighting in a trance-like state. These weren't just men fatigued by battle, but individuals whose actions appeared disconnected from their conscious will, almost as if an external force guided their every move. Imagine the sheer terror and confusion among their comrades witnessing such a spectacle. Was it a divine blessing, a warrior's spirit taking over, or something far more unsettling? The exact details are often shrouded in the poetic and sometimes exaggerated language of historical accounts, yet the consistency of the theme across various narrators suggests a core event or phenomenon that demanded explanation. But the phenomenon was not confined to the Mediterranean world. As we travel north across the tumultuous seas, similar tales emerge from the rich tapestry of Norse sagas. Here, amidst the legends of berserkers driven into a frenzy by battle lust, we find descriptions that resonate with the Roman accounts. Warriors seemingly detached from pain or conscious fear, fighting with an almost mechanical ferocity, their eyes perhaps vacant, their minds elsewhere. The Norse interpretation, steeped in a pantheon of gods and powerful magic, would naturally lean towards supernatural explanations. Was it Odin's touch, a warrior's blessing, or a curse from a malevolent spirit that drove these formidable fighters into such a peculiar state of combat? These sagas, orally transmitted and later written down, often serve to explain the unexplainable, to instill awe, fear, or inspiration, and the idea of a warrior fighting while effectively asleep would certainly achieve all three. Further still, traversing vast continents and cultural divides, early Asian texts also offer their own unique glimpses into this perplexing phenomenon. While the specific terminology might differ, the essence remains. Accounts of warriors performing complex actions in battle, yet seemingly devoid of conscious awareness. These records might come from military treatises, philosophical texts touching upon the nature of the mind, or epic poems celebrating martial prowess. The prevalence of such narratives across such diverse civilizations, Roman, Norse, Asian, suggests that this wasn't merely a localized superstition, but a widespread observation interpreted through the unique cultural lens of each society.
These were not modern societies equipped with psychological frameworks, but cultures where the spiritual and the physical were often intertwined, where the lines between the natural and the supernatural were far more fluid. In these ancient worlds, confronting such battlefield anomalies presented a profound challenge to understanding. Early explanations, particularly in societies lacking a robust scientific method for examining the human mind, often veered dramatically into the realm of the supernatural. Divine possession was a common attribution, suggesting that gods or powerful spirits had seized control of a warrior's body, using them as instruments of their will. Curses, too, were invoked, portraying these somnambulistic episodes as punishment or a dark enchantment cast by an enemy sorcerer. Malevolent spirits were another popular culprit, believed to invade and manipulate the minds of soldiers, turning them into unwitting puppets in the grand theater of war. These explanations provided a framework, however mystical, for societies to reconcile seemingly impossible events with their existing worldviews. It offered a sense of order, however terrifying, in the face of chaos.
Physicians of the era, limited by nascent scientific understanding and without the benefit of modern neuroscience or psychology, struggled immensely to reconcile these battlefield anomalies with known medical conditions. Their diagnostic tools were rudimentary, their understanding of the brain's complexities almost non-existent. Without the concepts of neurochemistry, sleep cycles, or psychological trauma as we understand them today, these perplexing cases often defied categorization. They were frequently labeled as forms of madness, an inexplicable descent into a deranged state of mind, or as profound spiritual afflictions beyond the scope of any earthly remedy. The medical texts of the time, where they even touched upon such unusual phenomena, reflect a profound intellectual struggle, a testament to how profoundly these sleepwalking armies challenged the very limits of ancient knowledge. These were not just strange behaviors, they were fundamental ruptures in the expected order of human consciousness. The way these events were recorded and interpreted by societies that lacked modern psychological frameworks is crucial to our investigation. Without the vocabulary of dissociative states, PTSD, or sleep disorders, ancient chroniclers and healers were forced to rely on metaphors, religious explanations, and anecdotal observations. The very act of documenting such an event, even if misunderstood, indicates its significant impact. It wasn't just a minor curiosity. It was a phenomenon powerful enough to be remembered, recounted, and integrated into the historical and mythological fabric of these cultures, shaping perceptions of warfare, heroism, and the human spirit itself. These accounts, therefore, are invaluable, not just for what they describe, but for what they reveal about the intellectual and spiritual landscapes of our ancestors as they grappled with the unfathomable. But what truly explains these sleepwalking armies? Were these genuinely instances of soldiers fighting in a state of unconsciousness? Or are these accounts merely elaborate myths, echoes of a time when the strange and unexplained were readily attributed to the divine or demonic? Modern perspectives, armed with centuries of scientific and psychological advancements, offer several intriguing hypotheses, attempting to bridge the gap between ancient legend and contemporary understanding. We can now look back at these tantalizing glimpses from history through a lens that incorporates neuroscience, psychology, and a deeper appreciation for the complex interplay between mind and body under extreme duress. One compelling theory suggests these were instances of mass psychogenic illness, a phenomenon where extreme stress, fear, and shared delusion on the battlefield manifested as profound dissociative states. Imagine the sheer terror of ancient warfare, the incessant noise, the gruesome sights, the constant threat of death, the physical exhaustion. In such an environment, the human psyche can be pushed to its absolute breaking point. A collective delusion, perhaps triggered by a single individual's trance-like state, could ripple through an entire unit, causing others to enter similar dissociative states. In these moments, individuals might act without conscious control, performing complex, even violent actions, while their minds are effectively detached from their immediate reality. It is a terrifying testament to the power of the mind and the vulnerability of consciousness under unimaginable pressure. This isn't supernatural. It's a deeply human, albeit extreme, psychological response to an overwhelming situation. Another significant perspective posits that severe sleep deprivation, compounded by battle fatigue and the nascent stages of post-traumatic stress, could have induced acute somnambulistic episodes. Soldiers in ancient campaigns often marched for days, fought without rest, and lived in a constant state of alert, their bodies and minds pushed beyond all natural limits. This chronic lack of sleep, combined with the psychological trauma of witnessing and perpetrating violence, is a potent recipe for altered states of consciousness. It is well documented that severe sleep deprivation can lead to hallucinations, psychosis-like states, and even complex automatic behaviors in modern individuals. In the chaos of an ancient battlefield, a soldier in such an acute somnambulistic episode might indeed perform intricate combat maneuvers, swing a sword, or follow orders, all while effectively unconscious. Their actions, though seemingly deliberate, would be driven by instinct and ingrained training rather than conscious thought or memory, leaving them with no recollection afterward. The line between waking and dreaming, between conscious and unconscious action, becomes dangerously blurred. A third intriguing hypothesis argues for the embellishment of historical accounts, a common practice in ancient storytelling and propaganda. In a world where heroes were celebrated and victories elevated to legendary status, inexplicable bravery or unexpected decisive victories might have been later attributed to supernatural or bizarre circumstances.
Why? To enhance a leader's mystique? To inspire future generations with tales of their army's otherworldly prowess? Or simply to make a compelling story even more captivating? Imagine a general describing how his troops, despite overwhelming odds, fought with an unnatural ferocity, sweeping aside their enemies. Attributing this to a trance-like, sleepwalking state might have been a way to explain away the improbable, to add an element of awe and wonder to an already remarkable event, rather than admitting to pure luck or the sheer desperation of their men. This doesn't negate the possibility of some strange occurrences, but it suggests that the scale and nature of these sleepwalking armies might have been amplified over time, becoming more myth than documented fact. We also cannot dismiss the possibility of rare, undiagnosed neurological conditions affecting groups of individuals under extreme duress. While specific conditions might not have been understood in antiquity, it is conceivable that certain neurological disorders, perhaps triggered or exacerbated by the unique stresses of warfare, could have manifested in ways that mimicked somnambulism or dissociative states. In a cohort of thousands of soldiers, statistically, there would be individuals predisposed to various conditions. When placed under the intense physical and psychological pressures of ancient combat, such conditions could potentially manifest in synchronized or similar ways, creating the impression of a widespread phenomenon. Modern medicine has identified numerous neurological conditions that can cause altered states of consciousness and involuntary complex behaviors. Perhaps ancient battlefields simply provided the perfect, tragic catalyst for these rare conditions to emerge on a visible, unsettling scale. As we sift through the evidence, attempting to separate fact from folklore, to understand the truth behind the ancient world's most enigmatic fighters, we are left with a profound question. Did these somnambulist warriors truly exist? marching and fighting in a profound state of unconsciousness, challenging the very limits of human consciousness and conflict? Or are they merely echoes of a bygone era's vivid imagination, a testament to humanity's enduring need to explain the unexplainable, to weave the extraordinary into the fabric of our history? The mystery endures, inviting us to ponder the depths of the human mind under pressure and the lasting power of stories passed down through the ages.